Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back again. If you were in the first game earlier this morning, welcome back after about a 15-minute, 20-minute hiatus, whatever it was. Get the new game started, get my coffee refreshed, and everything else ready to go. Like I said, I felt like doing a Ernie Banks Let's Play 2, so we can only hope this game is closer than the first game because the California-Detroit game was not a close one. 9-0 is not close. But we're hoping to get a closer game here. The Chicago White Sox. Hello, Tony. The Chicago White Sox hosting the Cleveland Indians. Jose DeLeon on the mound for the White Sox against Ken Schrom. DeLeon has a +4 hold rating, so mixing that with Fisk 0, Cleveland may be looking to run a little bit on that +4. In Comiskey Park, singles are 1 to 9, lefties and righties. Home runs 1 to 4, lefties and righties. This is the third to the last game on May 13th, game number 223 on the replay. Chicago 15-14, Cleveland 14-18. There you see the starting lineups. Pretty basic. Not a whole lot going on with that. Harold, yes, Tim, I did that specifically for RJL. I wanted to piss RJL off, so I specifically put Harold Baines in the thumbnail. That was done on purpose, just to get RJL's goad, as they say. Hello, Jeffrey Guterman. Good to see you again, as we're doing a Let's Play 2. Colin, good to see you. Jeremiah, World's Worst Gamer, all you guys. Thank you for coming back for a second round. Hopefully this game is better than the first game is all I can say about it. Jose DeLeon will get the start for the White Sox. One bad part for Cleveland is they're playing with a shorthanded bullpen. In the previous game, Rich Yett, I believe he went 5 innings, if I'm not mistaken, so he is not available. So the only 3 pitchers they have available in the bullpen on the active roster are those 3 guys right there. Bales, Camacho, and Vandenberg. Bales does have a relief rating of 3 and Vandenberg a 2. So if Schrom gets in trouble, hopefully they can eat some innings. Schrom's fatigue is only a 5, so we're hoping he can. For Cleveland's sake, they're hoping that they can, eat some innings here. And yes, my refreshed coffee right here, my McDonald's breakfast blend, is all refreshed and ready to go. That is the energy necessary to get going. And I still, if Strat-O-Matic ever does it, I want royalties because it was my idea to make Strat-O-Matic brand coffee and have the breakfast blend be Strat-O-Matic basic coffee, have the middle blend, medium blend, be the Strat-O-Matic advanced coffee, and have the dark roasted Colombian brand, or whatever you want to blend, whatever you want to call it, have be the super advanced coffee. That's the way I would market that. But if they do that, I want royalties. Hello, Kenyon. Good to see you. All right, so Jose DeLeon on the mound. He's 3-3 on the replay. He is 3-3. His ERA is 4.82. It was 4.02 real world. It was 4.02, but he's got 4.82 on the replay. 37 innings pitched, 31 hits, 27 walks, 41 strikeouts. His wild pitch is a 6, his balk is a 2, and his hold, more importantly, is a +4, which means guys like Butler, Franco might do some running if they get on base. So speaking of Butler, Brett Butler will lead things off for Cleveland. He's hitting .396 on the replay in 53 at-bats. So he does not have enough at-bats to qualify for the league leaders, but he is up there because he was injured much of April. He hit .295 real world, but he's hitting .396 here. He stole 33 bases real world. He's stolen 8 so far in this one. And runned away from Comiskey Park. 110 for Butler. He will fly to center field, and hauling it in is Darryl Boston for out number 1. And in case you were there for the first game a few minutes ago, I did the totals, and Alan Trammell had 9 assists. I'm not sure if that's a record for me in a game, but it's certainly close to have 9 assists. I know he had at least 3 putouts. So he was busy over there, besides getting 3 hits. But it was all for a losing cause. All right, here's Julio Franco, again, the designated hitter, hitting .313 on the replay, 2 homers, 17 driven in, hit .319 real world. That's a 4-6, and that's going to be a strikeout for DeLeon. There's a dot there, but of course in the first inning he's not tired. And Franco down on strikes. That'll bring up Joe Carter. Talk about somebody struggling in the replay. He's Exhibit A. Joe Carter in replay only hitting a .176 in 142 at bats. 4 homers, 6 driven in. He had 264 real world with 32 homers and 106 driven in. So boy, talk about somebody that's been struggling. 1-6, and he continues to struggle. Most likely 1-2 is a single. That's a 7, and it's a liner to short. We have new dice out for the new game to match the White Sox uniforms as best I could get. Different devil die, but probably still devilish. We go to the bottom of the first. Cleveland nothing. Sox coming to bat after a 1-2-3 inning. And right-hander Ken Schrom on the mound for the Tribe. And on the replay, Ken Schrom is 2-2 with a 4.43 earned run average. He has 6.50 in real world, so he's doing a lot better. 41 innings pitched, 39 hits, 17 walks, 12 strikeouts. Wild pitch and balk are both 5s for him. He's got a 0 hold when combined with Dempsey, who's a +1. He's a -1 for a net 0. So Darryl Boston will lead things off. He's hitting .315 on the replay, 5 homers, 14 driven in. He hit .258 real world. Hello, Canadian. Good to see you back for game 2. Schrom to Boston, 1-9. That's trouble. 1-18 is a double. Leadoff double for Darryl Boston. And if Cleveland needs Schrom to go innings, that's not a good way to start out. As Boston gets a leadoff double, he will not be held at second. Here's Gary Redus. On the replay, Redus is hitting .310, 4 homers, 13 driven in. He only had .236 real world, so he's definitely doing better than he did in his real-life counterpart at this point. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X since they were not holding Boston on. That means that Bernazard will keep the 4E22, will not go to a 5E22, but 4 is bad enough. Look at all those 4s on the Cleveland defense. There's a whole row right there of 4. The entire infield is a 4. That's pretty sad, actually. 4 and a 10 might get away with it. 4 and a 10 is a G3 pound, but they were not holding the runner, so that's good. He's going to keep that. And so the runner will advance, obviously, as long as there's no error. It'll be a standard 4-3 ground out, but it's an E22, so he's got to avoid 12, 18, and 17. That's an 11, so he did avoid it. So it's a ground ball to the right side by Redus. So the little things done well by the White Sox, moving that runner over with less than 2 outs. That's baseball 101, where he is at third base with less than 2 outs for Harold Baines, the poster boy and thumbnail boy, designated hitter. He's hitting .261 on the replay and 23 at bats. He was injured for quite a bit of time, too. He hit .293 real world. Cleveland's going to play the infield in early. Want to choke that run off. It's a 6-6 against the left-hander. It's not going to matter. 1's a home run, 2-20 is a double. That's a double for Harold Baines. And the White Sox grab a 1-0 lead. Hopefully this will not be a 9-0 game. As Harold Baines, Hall of Famer Harold Baines, hits a double. Gives the Sox a 1-0 lead. Here's Pudge Fisk, a true Hall of Famer. 253 on the replay, 3 homers, 12 driven in. He at 256 real world. 5-8, and that's a pop-up to third. Brooke Jacoby is there. 2 down, so Schrom can limit the damage to 1 run. He'll definitely be okay. Hello, Robert, and I did the thumbnail just for you, in case you were curious. And, of course, Baines did have the RBI double just a few minutes ago. So here's Greg Walker hitting .206 on the replay, 3 homers, 12 driven in at 256 real world. Baines, of course, not being held at second base, as he is a slow runner. 5-12, left-handed is a split. 1-10 is a single, but that's a 19, so he's going to line it to Bernazard at second. And the White Sox will just get the 1 run, and that's going to be it. We played 1 at Chicago 1 and Cleveland nothing. Tony and Chuck, good to see both of you, if I didn't say so earlier. All right, DeLeon back out will face Mel Hall, Pat Tabler, and Brooke Jacoby. Hall on the replay hitting .323, 4 homers, 14 driven in. He hit .280 real world. 4-5 for the left-handers, a ground ball to second. And Donnie Hill will take care of that, no problem. One away. Brings up Pat Tabler, the first baseman. Tabler hitting 386 on the replay, one of the league's leading hitters. In 132 at-bats, he's got 4 homers and 22 driven in. He hit 307 real world, but he's hitting 386 on the replay. 4-5, and that's a strikeout, so that's not going to help the old average. 2 down very quickly for third baseman Brooke Jacoby. Jacoby also hitting well in the replay, hitting 357 in 115 at-bats. He's got 4 homers and 21 driven in. He hit 300 even on the real season. 2-7, and that's a single, so another base hit for Jacoby. Help that average even more. He will not be held at first base. And here's Tony Bernazard. He will eventually get traded to Oakland later in the season. Right now he's hitting 261 on the replay, 4 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 250 real world. First havoc roll for DeLeon as it's got the first base runner. 6-8, switch hitter batting left. 6-8 is a walk, so possibly a 2-out rally underway by Cleveland. It's going to be Corey Snyder in a clutch situation against right-handers in the clutch. Corey Snyder not very good on a 1-9 and 110. He will lose hits. Everywhere else he is neutral, but he's got to avoid the 1-9 and the 110. On the replay, he's hitting 229, 4 homers, 14 driven in. He hit 236 real world. But he's got to avoid that 110. He did, 6-8, but that's another walk for DeLeon. So back-to-back walks issued by DeLeon. And after 2 quick outs, all of a sudden, the Tribe have the bases loaded, but they have a very weak hitter in Rick Dempsey, the number 9 hitter, coming up to bat. Dempsey on the replay is hitting an even 200 in 55 at-bats, a homer and 10 driven in. He only hit 177 real world. DeLeon trying to leave him loaded. 2-9, and he's going to walk Dempsey. That's the 3rd consecutive walk from DeLeon. And that will force in a run to tie the game. So at least there won't be a second shutout. But that's 3 walks in a row issued by DeLeon. And the pitching coach for the White Sox now going out to talk to him. As Jim Fragosi's like, what the hell? But here comes Brett Butler. He flew to center his first time up. See if DeLeon can find that strike zone after getting a brisk talking to. 2-6. Boy, 2-5 would have been another walk, but 2-6 is a ground ball to third. And Hewlett handles it with ease, but 3 walks in a row produce a run. And at the end of 1.5, we're tied at 1. So bottom of the second. Schrom back out will face Ivan Calderon for the White Sox. And on the replay, Calderon is hitting 298, 5 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 293 real world. 5-6, and that's a fly ball to right field. Hauled in out there by Joe Carter. Can't hit, so at least hopefully he's fielding well. Here's Donnie Hill, switch hitting second baseman. Hill on the replay and in limited duty, only 68 at-bats so far, is hitting a .176, 2 homers, 9 driven in. He hit 239 real world. 3-9, and that's going to be a single for Donnie Hill. He will not be held, obviously, at first base as a slow runner. And that'll bring up Tim Hewlett. Hewlett on the replay hitting a .194, 3 homers, 10 driven in. He hit 217 real world. That's a 1, so Schrom's wild pitch rating is a 5. And it's blocked by Dempsey, so no wild pitch. 5-4, that's a pop-up second base. There's a dot there, but obviously he's not tired in the second inning. So Bernazard will just take care of that. 2 down for Ozzie Guillen. Not to be confused with Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzie Guillen, 265 on the replay, a homer and 7 driven in, 279 real world. That's a 1, so another chance for a wild pitch. That's 11. It's blocked by Dempsey, so Dempsey's trying to keep us from going off the rails on a crazy train. 210, and that's a home run chance. 1-7. 13 means we got a triple for Ozzie Guillen. Ozzie Guillen, a 2-out clutch triple. Wasn't really clutch, I guess, because the runner was not in scoring position. But when you triple, everybody's in scoring position, and the White Sox lead it 2-1. Look at it again. 210. 210. Home run 1-7. Triple 8-20. That's a 13. So there you go. That brings up Daryl Boston with Guillen at third and 2 down. Schrom trying to minimize the damage again. 1-7. He's not going to do it. 1-7. 1-9 is a home run. That's a 19. It'll be a double. So second double in a row for Daryl Boston. This one's an RBI double, and it's 3-1 White Sox. And when the Indians need Schrom to go some innings, he may not be able to even make it to his point of weakness if he doesn't start getting these outs. Here's Gary Reedus. 6-7, and that's a walk. That's going to keep the inning going for you-know-who. RJL's favorite all-time major leaguer is coming up. Harold Baines with 2 on and 2 outs clutch situation. In the clutch, Baines gets hits on 1-7 and 1-11. Also on 2-3 and 3-4. So and 3-10. So he's clutch everywhere. Just call him Mr. Clutch. Harold Baines is Mr. Clutch. 5-10. And look at this. Ballpark blast. He's got normal power. It's 1-4, but that's a 7. So the Devil Die keeps him from getting a 3-run homer. He'll settle with a fly out to right field. And the White Sox will settle with 2 runs thanks to a triple and a single. Could have had a cycle in the inning there. A single, a triple, a double, and could have had a home run for a cycle in an inning. But didn't quite get there. That will do it for the Sox, but they do take the lead and reclaim the lead 3-1. DeLeon back out. Will be facing Franco, Carter, and Hall for the Tribe. Franco struck out his first chance. 2-9, and he's going to line it hard, but right to Donnie Hill for out number 1. Don't forget tonight is Sparky Bowl night on Inside Pitch at 8 o'clock. Game 4 of that mystical fictional World Series between the 76 Reds and the 84 Tigers. Jack Morris against Gary Nolan is the pitching matchup. Game 4 from Tiger Stadium. Reds lead the series 2-1. So pivotal game. The Tigers can't afford to drop and go down 3-1. It's a 3-9 for Carter, and he's going to ground it to short. His struggles continue. And that'll bring up Mel Hall. 5-8, and that's a strikeout. So as former White Sox announcer Hawk Harrelson would say, he'll grab some bench. And that'll end the inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the third. Still 3-1 Cubbies. Or not Cubbies, but White Sox. Got Chicago in the brain, but the wrong kind of Chicago, apparently, for this game. So Pudge Fisk will lead it off. Fisk, his first time up, popped it up to Jacoby at third. 4-6 for Schrom is a leadoff walk. Boy, he can't afford that. He needs to get outs and get them quickly and save some of that stamina because they're going to need it. Fisk not being held, obviously. Here is Greg Walker. Tell you, it's interesting the last 4 or 5 days or so, the celebrity people we have lost. Talk about Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Hulk Hogan, and also musician Chuck Mangione. Those 4 guys all right there in a row. Really tough news to hear about that happening to those guys so quickly. All right, here is Greg Walker. 6-6 against a lefty. That's an in-home run chance on a 1. Anything else is a double. Greg Walker will double. Fisk will hold at third base with nobody out. And Schrom continues to be in trouble. They're going to have to bring the infield in against Calderon. They got to get out. They got to prevent runs. They're already giving up 3 runs already. Don't want to give a cheap run if they can avoid it. However, he does have a couple of plus signs on his card, so that can be a risk, but it's a risk the Cleveland Indians have to take. 310, split chance. 1 to 4 is a single. Anything else he lines to short. That's a 5. They caught a break. It's a liner right to Corey Snyder, and there's one away. Infield will continue to stay in against Donnie Hill. Schrom pitching to Hill. Infield in. 6-8, switch hitter batting left is a walk. Yet another base on balls. That's going to load the bases. If you want a silver lining to that, it does set up a double play to get him out of the inning if they can get it against Tim Hewlett. So they're actually going to play back for the double play now. That's a 2, so it's a chance of a balk or a pass ball. That is a chance of a balk on Schrom. His balk rating's a 5, and it would bring home a run. Nope, no balk. So he's going to stay there, but the infield is back for the double play. Bases loaded, 1 out. They lead it 3-1. They're looking for more. 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Brett Butler. He's a 2E5, but if he gets a good D20 roll, he can prevent a sacrifice fly. If he gets a double die roll, it's going to drop in for a hit. And he got a double die roll, 3. What do you know? I just had a feeling that was coming. I just had a feeling. 2 and a 3. 2 and a 3 is a single, 2 stars. So 2 runs will score. Both Walker and Fisk will score. Hill will go to third. Hewlett singles. And now we're checking for the error. He's an E5, and that's an 8, so there's no error there, but it will be a single, 2 stars due to that double die. And it's now 5-1 White Sox. And Ian the batter, and Scott Bales is already loosening in the Cleveland bullpen. And they may be going to him early and often, because Ken Schrom just doesn't seem to have it. Here's Guillen. He tripled his only time up. The infield, they're playing back for the double play. Guillen, though, could get the lead here. 6 or a 7, so they're playing with house money. He's going to try for the lead. Does not get the lead. So now, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be Hewlett, rather. Guillen's at bat. What am I doing? Hewlett's not going anywhere. All right, here's Guillen. 5-6 to the left-hander is a ground ball shortstop X. They are playing for the double play, but you got a 4E48 shortstop. Not exactly what you would be hoping for. 4 and 18, they got a decent roll this time, so they might be able to pull it off. 4 and an 18 is a G1. It's a possible double play, but again, that E48 error rating sticks out like a sore thumb. That's a 7, though. They might get away with that. E48, they do get away with it. There's a 6, 12, 15, 3, 16, and 18, but no 7. So they actually turn the double play 6, 4, 3 to get out of the inning before it gets any worse. So somehow Corey Snyder makes the play. Ian Bernazar turned the double play to get out of any further damage. Damage is already done pretty much. It's 5-1 after 3. But it could have been 7 or 8-1 had that ball gotten through. So DeLeon now has been given a 5-1 lead to work with. And we got Pat Tabler stepping to the plate. 1-5, and he will ground it to short for Ozzie Guillen. 1 away. And that brings up Jacoby. He singled and scored the only run for the Tribe. 5-8, and he's going to strike out this time. DeLeon is 4th strikeout. And that'll bring up Tony Bernazard. I was going to use DeLeon as the thumbnail, but I decided to use Baines just to irritate certain people. 6-7, switch hitter batting left is a base on balls. And that is the 4th walk issued by DeLeon to go with 4 strikeouts. Of course, he had those 3 walks in consecutive order in the second to produce a run. Here's Corey Snyder, made that nice play to turn the double play. And down 5-1. I don't think Bernazar is going to go anywhere. He will not. He will be held, but he won't go anywhere. 1-7 for Snyder is a strikeout to end the inning. 5th strikeout for DeLeon. And we go to the bottom of the 4th, still 5-1. And Cleveland's hoping Schrom can at least give him 6 innings, but it's looking to be in jeopardy for that. The bullpen might be doing extra work here. Strat decaf coffee. Well, my first thought is that's almost an oxymoron. What's the purpose of decaf coffee? I don't get that. I mean, the purpose for coffee is waking up and getting the caffeine boost. So if you take that away, that's like non-alcoholic beer. I'd say decaf coffee. We'll call it APA. We'll call it APA coffee. How about that? Because as we all know, friends don't let friends play APA. All right, here's Daryl Boston to lead it off. 6-6, and that's a 1 home run. Anything else is a double. It'll be a double for Daryl Boston. He has doubled all 3 times at the plate. He is 3 for 3 with 3 doubles. I don't think I've ever had that before. We've got doubles 3 times in a row. Here's Gary Redus. Schrom hanging on by a thread. 1-2, and that's a split chance, but it's a 1-18 single. That is an 18. That'll put runners at first and second. It was a 1-star single. First and second, nobody out. Here comes Baines, Fisk, and Walker, and that's it. That is completely it. Pat Corrales has seen enough. Ken Schrom is out of there, and they're going to depend on, well, actually, they're going to use Vandenberg to try to get out of the jam. They'll use Bales later on to try to eat innings. But they're going to use Vandenberg to try to get out of the mess. So Vandenberg will be coming on. Schrom's only going to go 3+. He's going to give up 9 hits. So far, 5 runs are earned, but he's responsible for both of those as well. He walked 3, and I don't think he struck out. He didn't strike anybody. So a horrible outing for Ken Schrom. No question about that. And now Baines is on to face Vandenberg, lefty-on-lefty matchup with runners at the corners. And let's get the numbers on Vandenberg. I don't think Clee baseball fan wanted to see any more Ken Schrom anyway. So Vandenberg is on. He's done the replay. He's 2-1 with a save, but his ERA is 9.95, and he had a 5.10 real world. But in the replay, it's 9.95. 13 innings pitched, 24 hits, 7 walks, 7 strikeouts. And the infield is going to play back for a double play. They need outs in the worst way. So Vandenberg to Baines. That's a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that because that white die was crooked, and I like to have everything flat on the table. We get a 5-10, and that's a double to right field for Harold Baines. Baines doubles to right. Redus is going to, well, he could probably score. Carter's a -1 arm. 17 being held makes him a 16. -1 arm's a 15. They're going to send him. They're playing with house money. They're going to send him. Baines is so slow he cannot take third, or at least I'm not going to allow it. But a 1-15, he's safe. And he's in there. So a 2-run double for Harold Baines. His second and third run batted in of the game. So I guess I picked the thumbnail right for this one. As Baines, a 2-run double. Those runs, both those runs actually are charged to Schrom. So he's going to end up giving up 7 runs, all earned in 3+ innings. And it is 7-1 White Sox. Boys, hoping for a close game, but tell you what, this has just not been my day for close games. Started on Saturday with that 20-0 game. And then earlier we had a 9-0 game, and now this one is 7-1 already. Can we get a close game? That's the problem. All right, here's Fisk. 1-3, ground ball to short. That will hold Baines at second base. Finally, they record an out. And that'll take it to Greg Walker, another lefty-on-lefty matchup for Vandenberg. 6-11, and that's a ground ball first base X. We're looking at Tabler. He's a 4E25. So, again, the fours in the infield are definitely hurting Cleveland. 4 and a 7, that's iffy. 4 and a 7. Oops, get my chart here. Slipped out of my hand. 4 and a 7. We know Baines is going to take third regardless. 4 and a 7 is a G3 pound, but Baines was not being held, so the G3 is a good one. He is an E25, and that is an 11. First base. There is an 11 right here, so that's an E1. So E1 or E3 because it's on the first baseman. So Tabler will boot it. Baines will take third. And all of a sudden now, runners are at the corners. With only one out for Calderon. Infield looking for the double play. 1-6, and they're not going to get it. 1-16 is a home run. That's a 9. It's gone. Yvonne Calderon, 1-6. A 1-16 home run, and it is long and it is gone. Home run number 6 on the replay for Calderon. So much for a close game again. Getting cursed by that. 3-run homer. Home run number 6, RBI 16, 17, and 18 for Calderon. 5 runs in the inning for the White Sox. These 3 runs have been charged to Vandenberg. It is now 10-1. Here's Donnie Hill. Still only one out. 4-8, switch hitter batting right-handed is a base hit. So Vandenberg can't get anybody out. This game could end up with a position player pitching in the 8th inning. Good thing Cleveland's a visiting team. They only got to cover 8 innings. They don't have to worry about the 9th inning. So here is Hewlett. 5-6, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Again, that is Mr. Snyder. He's a 4E48. 4 and a 6 is probably going to get through. 4 and a 6 is an SI1. So it's going to move the runner to second base with one out. E48, that's an 11. E48, there's a 12, but no 11. So there's no error on the play, but he can't get to it. And runners are at first and second with one out. Now the 9th man to bat in the inning, Ozzie Guillen. Vandenberg to Guillen. 6-10, left-handed ground ball third base X. So we're looking at Jacoby. He's a 4E25. Those 4s are killers. Especially when you get double die rolls like that. 4 and a 2. Single 2 stars. That'll score Hill. Move Hewlett to third. And now we'll check for the error. He's an E25 at third base, and that is a 10. There is no 10, but it will be a single 2 stars. And now they have batted around as we move the columns over one by one. Guillen with an RBI single. Well, not an RBI single, but a single that moves the runner to third, I should say. So now runners are at the corners with only one out. Now, with the score being 10-1, they're not going to have Guillen worry about trying to steal or anything like that. They're just going to have Boston up there to hit. He's doubled all 3 times, but those were against right-handers. See what he does against the lefty Vandenberg. 5-9, and he might double again. 1-9 is a double. That's a 19, though, so he'll settle for a single. Score Hewlett, move Guillen to third. And boy, Vandenberg just wasn't the answer either, apparently. As this is getting worse than the last game. I might get 20 runs in this game. Here's Reedus. Infield looking for the double play. Still only one out. 2-7. Ground ball to short. It's a good thing they didn't play in. That would have been a base hit. Instead, it's a double play, 6-4-3. So at least that decision was made correctly. And they get out of the inning without further embarrassment. It was embarrassing enough as they put a 6-pack on the board to make it an 11-1 ball game after 4 innings. Cleveland's probably wishing I hadn't played 2 today because that's not their day. But the guy who's enjoying it is Jose DeLeon. He's just a walk in the park for him. Here's Dempsey, 5-8, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 6 for DeLeon. Top of the order for Brett Butler. 3-8 for Butler, and he will single. But down 11-1, you're not stealing here. Here's Julio Franco. 4-9, and that's a 1 for a triple. Anything else, he flies to center field. Hauled in by Boston, 2 down for the ever-struggling Joe Carter. Three, 6, and he's continuing to struggle. Ground ball to Guillen at short, ends the inning. So it seems like Cleveland, before they know it, they're right back out in the field again. They don't get much of a break. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 11-1. And that man, Harold Baines, will lead it off. Yeah, Tony, I do. This is one where if I wasn't streaming this, I might go to the Strat computer and do simulate to finish the game out, but we're committed to playing it all the way through. Good, bad, or ugly, and the games lately have been ugly. I've had my share of 2-1 games that were good games, but these late games here lately have all been ugly. Oops. Even got a hop and dice around here. Here's Baines. He's 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. 3-7. He's going to strike out this time, though. Vandenberg gets him on strikes. Here's Fisk. They're going to try to get Vandenberg through the inning, then have Bales pitch the rest of the game if they possibly can. Fisk, 6-7. That's a ground ball, second base X. We're looking at Bernazard, a 4E22. Once again, another 4 in the infield. And once again, the double die comes up with a low number. So 4 and a 3 is a single. E22 and an 8 at second base. There is no 8, but it's a single. So another 4 in the infield ends up costing them. All right, something didn't work right on my computer here. Let's see what happened. I didn't enter something correctly, apparently. Go back and look at the game play-by-play because something is off on my computer. I need to fix this before it gets any further. Okay. Boston grounded into a... Why do I have Boston grounded into a double play? Guillen singled. Okay, I didn't put Boston single in there. That was the problem. So I got to go and redo this. So give me a couple minutes and I will undo. Good thing they have the undo button on the Strat computer is all I can say. So I got to undo the bottom of the, or the top of the 5th rather, and get back to the bottom of the 4th and finish out the inning properly. This will only take a minute. Because Dempsey, yeah, he was the one that led off, so get rid of that. All right, so Guillen, so Boston singled to score Hewlett, and then Reedus is the one who grounded into the double play. Okay, now we can go Dempsey striking out, single for Butler, fly to center, grounder to short. And then for the White Sox, Baines strikes out, and Fisk will single. Okay, now we're back in business. Greg Walker, the batter. Just a little snafu there. Easily can happen when it's an 11-1 game, or actually 12-1 game. Actually, there were 7 runs in the inning. On my computer, I messed it up. When I messed it up, I didn't give them their last run, so it's actually 7 runs. It's actually a 12-1 game. It's worse than what I thought. I just think at one point it was 1-1. 11 unanswered runs by the White Sox in this game. Vandenberg to Walker, 4-4. Fly ball center field X. That's Brett Butler. He's a 2E5. 2 and an 8 should get to that. 2 and an 8 is an F2, so he will. That is a 7, and he's an E5. That shouldn't be a problem. It's not. So fly to center. Out number 2. And that will send up Ivan Calderon. .37 against the lefty, struck him out. So that's going to do it for Vandenberg. Cap him at 2 innings. And he's going to give up 4 runs. Not sure all of them are earned, though. So let's go to the computer, and it will tell me, so I don't do the math myself. 5 runs, 4 earned for Vandenberg in 2 innings. 7 hits. No walks, 2 strikeouts. So the White Sox have pounded out 16 hits already. 12 runs and 16 hits in 5 innings for the White Sox. And Scott Bales will come in and eat as many innings as possible for Cleveland. He'll be the new pitcher. And they will try to get him to finish out the ball game for them and pitch these last 3 innings. So DeLeon, no problems with him. He has a 12-1 lead. It'll be Mel Hall. 4-9, and that is a 1-4 triple. Anything else is a single. So Mel Hall does get a single. And a little bit of a mocking golf clap from the White Sox fans as they're making fun of the Indians. Here's Tabler. 5-8, struck him out. Strikeout number 7 for DeLeon. DeLeon looking to improve to 4-3. We know Schrom is going to go drop to 2-3, and his ERA is going to balloon. Here's Jacoby. 5-9, and that is a ground ball second base C. That'll advance Hall to second base for what good that does. At least it wasn't a double play. It's about the most positive thing you can say about that. Here's Bernazard. Bernazard has walked twice. 2-11, and it's a ballpark single check, 1-9. That's a 15, so he will line it to second to end the inning. So DeLeon on cruise control in this 12-0 game, or 12-1 game. Don't want to cheat the Indians out of the 1 run they have. Here's Scott Bales. He will pitch starting in the bottom of the 6th. We'll get the number on Bales. His replay numbers. Oh, Donnie Hill's the batter. I didn't move Calderon. That's actually Donnie Hill leading off. It'll be Hill, Hewlett, and Guillen, bottom of the order. We'll get the replay numbers on Scott Bales. He has done a couple of starts, but mostly relief. When they moved Carlton in a rotation, they put Bales back in the bullpen. He started the season as a starter. Now he's in relief. On the replay, Bales 2-2 with a save, an ERA of 6.43. 28 innings pitched, 37 hits, 11 walks, 16 strikeouts. More importantly, a relief fatigue factor of 3, so he can eat some innings. 1-4, and that's a strikeout. So he starts out with a strikeout of Donnie Hill. That's a positive start at least. Here's Tim Hewlett. The Tribe have not had a 1-2-3 inning yet. Oh, I didn't need that because nobody's on base. Here's Hewlett. 1-10, and that is a pop-up to short for Corey Snyder. So a possible 1-2-3 inning can be turned in by Scott Bales. Here's Ozzie. He is singled and tripled. 110. He's going to ground it to second, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Scott Bales. That'll help the cause. Possibly allow him to finish out this game and not have to go to Ernie Camacho at all. So top of the 7th, this is the fatigue inning for Jose DeLeon. But I don't think he's feeling any pain right now. Up 12-1. Here's Corey Snyder. 3-7, and he strikes out. Strikeout number 8 for DeLeon. Maybe should have put him as a thumbnail instead of you-know-who, but hey, you-know-who hadn't had a bad game either. Here's Dempsey. Now we can pinch hit, and they might as well. I don't think it's going to hurt the chemistry of the pitcher-catcher combination because Bales just came in to start. So they're going to go ahead and pinch hit, and they will use Doug Frobel to get him in a bat, and then Chris Bando will catch. So Frobel will pinch hit here in the 7th, and Chris Bando will come in the game to catch the 7th inning and 8th inning. But Doug Frobel will get the chance to hit. He doesn't get a chance to hit very often. In a game like this is when you get him a chance. These are the kind of games you bring somebody like him in to let him have a swing. Frobel on the replay is 2 for 4, hitting 500. He was 100 on the season and 40 at bats, but so far he's 2 for 4, so this might help lower his average back to normalcy. 4-9, but it doesn't. He gets a base hit. 1-4 is a triple. That's a single, so Frobel continues. How about that? Now he is going to be hitting 600, I believe it is. So Frobel gets the pinch hit. And Bando will come in to catch at the end of the inning. Here's Butler. 1 chance for a wild pitch on DeLeon. His wild pitch rating's a 6. No wild pitch. It's blocked by Fisk. Just the 4th hit for the Tribe. 1-9, and that's the 5th hit. 1-16 is a triple. That'll be a triple for Butler, and that will score Frobel. Cuts the lead to 12-2. And DeLeon may just be running out of steam right about now. Julio Franco, the batter. We'll go to the bullpen and see who they have available. They have from the right side, Bob James, Bobby Thigpen, and Jimmy Wynn. From the left side, Joel McKeon and Ray Searage. And this is looking like a Joel McKeon game with the score being a blowout. So let's see if he needs the work or not. Probably does. Actually, he does not. He's been overused, so we're not going to use McKeon, that's for sure. A lot of their bullpen guys have been overused. Jim Wynn hasn't had that much opportunity compared to real world. He's only at 101% on his pace. So Jimmy Wynn is loosening in the bullpen for the White Sox. If DeLeon struggles, they'll bring in Jimmy Wynn, and he can finish the game with his fatigue rating. Right now, here's Julio Franco. Infield is back with a 12-2 lead. They want to let a ground out score, that so be it. 6-7, that's a walk. So now I believe he is officially fatigued, which he is. But they're going to let him try to get Joe Carter out. He's gotten him out 3 times in a row. Infield is back for the double play. 2-8 for Carter. This time Carter comes through, a 1-15 double. It's a 2-star double, but it's an RBI double for Carter, and that's going to be it for DeLeon. He's not going to go any further. Stopping at third is Franco. So before he has a really bad outing, they're going to go and pull him. So DeLeon's going to go 6 1/3. And we'll get the numbers on him completely, but the runners on base are his responsibility. DeLeon, 6 1/3, 6 hits. So far, 3 runs, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. And Jimmy Wynn will be coming on to pitch. Jimmy Wynn, the right-hander. I know there's a left-hander coming up, but it's 12-3. What's the difference? So Mel Hall will face Jimmy Wynn. We'll bring Jimmy Wynn in and get the numbers on him for the replay, as the crowd gives DeLeon a nice hand. But Jimmy Wynn, a fresh arm, will be coming on. Wynn on the replay, 1-1 with no saves, but his ERA is 10.59 on the replay. His ERA real world was 4.79, so he's definitely been struggling. He can use a good outing. 17 innings pitched, 18 hits, 18 walks, and 6 strikeouts. That's where he's ran into problems. 18 walks in 17 innings has been his bugaboo. In real world, he had 94 innings pitched and 62 walks. But he's averaging over a walk an inning right now. That's been his bugaboo. So second and third, 1 out. Infield is back. They need outs. And here's Mel Hall. 2-8 for Hall, and that's a single to center field. That will score Franco. Boston's a -1 arm. Carter a 14. Not being held makes him a 15. -1's a 14. But being down by so many, they're just going to hold him at third base. So an RBI single for Mel Hall makes it 12-4. I bring up Pat Tabler. So one thing about Cleveland is, hello, Casmo. Good to see you. One thing about Cleveland, though, is they can score runs. They give up runs, but they can score runs, so they could make it interesting. Win with runners at the corners and 1 out. They're playing back for the double play against Pat Tabler. 1-5, and that's exactly what they got. 6-4-3 double play ends the inning. So what little bit of hope Cleveland had just kind of went away right there on that 6-4-3 double play. They scored 3 runs, but they were looking for more than that. And now we need Chris Bando in the game to catch for Cleveland, as he is the new catcher after they hit for Dempsey. So we go to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch time here in Chicago. No Harry Carey because he is with the Cubs at this point in 87. No longer with the White Sox. Top of the order is going to be due up for the White Sox in the bottom of the 7th, but it's the 7th inning, so we have the 7th inning stretch. Gives me a chance to reheat my coffee for one last time and get everything all set up for the final 2 innings. It's a wild one. It's 12-4, favor of the White Sox. And we are looking now at the 7th inning stretch. So while I go heat my coffee, you guys can enjoy. Take me out to the ball game. All right, we are back from the 7th inning stretch. To wrap this thing up, put a bow on this thing. Second game of the doubleheader that we weren't counting on there at first. Hello, Tark. Didn't see you. All right, so bottom of the 7th we go. It's 12-4. Scott Bales pitched a 1-2-3 inning, so he's trying to keep it going here against Darryl Boston. Lefty on lefty matchup. 1-5 is a fly to center field. Butler puts it away. One down, so maybe they should have had Bales pitch earlier. I don't know. Hello, Justin. And I did come back from the 7th inning stretch with warm coffee, so I'm ready to finish this off. Gary Reedus. 2-7 for Reedus. He's going to ground to short. 2 down. So Bales has retired all 5 he has faced to this point. And here comes that man, Harold Baines. 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. 4-9, and he's going to line it to short, right to Corey Snyder. And 6 up, 6 down, recorded by Scott Bales. Maybe he should have been the one starting the game. But could be that he just does better in relief. I don't know. But we go to the 8th inning. Jimmy Wynn back out for his 2nd inning of work. Only faced 2 batters in the 8th inning. Got that double play to end the inning. And it's actually Brooke Jacoby. Lead off Jacoby, Bernazard, and Snyder due up for the Tribe. 4-8, and that is a double. 1-6 rather, and that is a 9 though, so it's going to be a single. So base hit for Jacoby. He certainly keeps his average up where in the high numbers. Brings up Bernazard. Win to Bernazard. 5-7, switcher bang left. That's a ground ball, second base X. That'll be Hill. He's a 4-11, so he's got 4. White Sox have some 4s in their infield too. But the double die comes up at 19 for the White Sox. Go figure. One team gets a benefit of the double die, one team does not. And the 419 is a G1, and that's a 15. He is an E13. 15 and E13. No 13. There's a 14 and a 17 and 18, but no 13. So we will have a 4-6-3 double play, 2nd double play in a row, hit into by the Tribe. Talk about killing some rallies. 2 quick outs for Corey Snyder. .110, and that's going to be a single. 2-out single for Snyder. For Cleveland, that's their 9th hit, but it pales in comparison to the 16 by the White Sox. Here's Chris Bando, his first at bat since coming in as a replacement for Dempsey. They got pinch hit for by Frobel. So this is Bando's first at bat on the replay. Bando's hitting 200 even in 55 at bats. A homer and 8 driven inning at 218 real world. Switch hitter 1-6 is a line out to short. So he will line it. Whoops, wrong side. He will line it to Guillen to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Tribe. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still an 12-4 game. Bales has retired all 6 he has faced, so he's looking to keep it going and save the rest of the bullpen, which in this case is just Ernie Camacho. They're trying to keep Ernie Camacho from having to pitch, or a position player for that matter. So Bales is going to just try to finish it out here against Pudge Fisk. 410 right-handed is a strikeout. Boy, Bales is on fire. I'm doing the as-play lineups. If I wasn't, I'd probably have him starting since he's pitching so well instead of having these other jokers start. But I'm doing as played. So 2-8 against the lefty is a 1-4 home run. 5-20 he flies out, and that's a 5. So Bales catches a break. He got bailed out on that one on a fly ball to right. 2 down. And that'll bring up Calderon. He had a big home run earlier in that 7-run 4th inning. 3-10 against the lefty. Would have been a home run chance here, but he grounds to short instead. So how about that? Scott Bales retires all 9 he faces. He goes 3 innings, gives up nothing, strikes out 2. A far cry from the first two pitchers in this game. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and put the X here. I think it's pretty safe bet to put the X there. Some people say that's bad luck or whatever, but I don't think so. Not in this case. I'm not giving any false hope to anybody that Cleveland's going to come back or we're going to see any magic or any of that stuff. It's just the way it is. So the White Sox, 12 runs, 16 hits. And Cleveland committed 1 error. White Sox, no errors so far. Oh, I didn't finish out DeLeon. He gave up the 3 runs in that inning were all charged to him, so he ends up giving up 4 runs. Forgot to write that in. All right, top of the 9th, Brett Butler. Single and a triple in this game so far. 1-6 is a base on balls. So he will draw the base on balls. The White Sox would prefer to have Wynn finish it out. If he cannot, then either Bob James or Bobby Thigpen would finish it. But they would prefer to have Jimmy Wynn finish the game out. One's a wild pitch chance. They are not listed on the computer. So I need to go to the computer and get what that is. So let's do that real quick. Wynn's wild pitch rating is a 8 and 8. So an 8 for a wild pitch or less. 17, it gets blocked by Pudge. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Jimmy Wynn. He's not tired, so the strikeout is good. 1 away, and that brings up Joe Carter. Did somehow manage a double his last time up. 1 for 4. 4-7, and 1-13 is a single. That's a base hit for Carter. Maybe he's turning it around. Maybe that's the lone bright silver lining for the Cleveland Indians. But as that ultimate theologian from the Grateful Dead sang, every silver lining has a touch of gray. That would be Mr. Garcia, of course. All right, here's Mel Hall. .26 for Hall is a ground ball first base B, fielder's choice on the 3-6 that cannot turn the double play. And Butler will take second base on the 3-6 fielder's choice. So 2 down to the last out here for Pat Tabler. Tabler, 1-9, and he's going to ground it to short. Guillen's got it, and the ball game's over. 12-4, your final. 10 hits ends up being the number for Cleveland. So Jimmy Wynn is going to go 2 2/3 innings. But luckily, he didn't go the full 3 because that would have been terrible to get a save in a 12-4 game. That would have been a catastrophe, to say the least. So we go to the box score and fill this in and wrap this up. Second game of the doubleheader up. DeLeon improves to 4-3 with the win. Jimmy Wynn goes 2 2/3, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and a strikeout. He will be unavailable in the next game. So will Bales and Vandenberg. They'll both probably be unavailable for the next game as well. So we'll see what Cleveland wants to do because they're going to use up a lot of their bullpen. But they should get Rich Yett back. They'll have Yett and Camacho back fresh. And Vandenberg technically could come back. He only pitched 2 innings. Bales with the 3, though, probably is not going to come back. So for the White Sox, 12 runs, 16 hits, and no errors. They left on 6. Cleveland, 4 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. They left on 10. Again, DeLeon, the winner, 4-3. Schrom, the loser, 2-3. And his ERA jumps to 5.56 with that drubbing. Ed Vandenberg's ERA implodes to 11.05. Scott Bales actually lowers his ERA to 5.81. Player of the game, boy, who do you give the player of the game to? Nobody really stood out. I guess Darryl Boston, 4 for 5. It's kind of hard to miss that. 4 for 4 to start. He started with 3 straight doubles. So we're going to give the player of the game for lack of anybody else to give it to, we're going to give it to Daryl Boston. He's going to be our player of the game for the White Sox. As the White Sox improve to 16-14, they're trying to catch up with the Oakland A's, and they're on a step to do that. Cleveland drops to 14-19. They're going to drop down near the Baltimore-Boston territory if they're not careful. So let's look at the standings now with this game included and see where we're standing. Cleveland now 14-19. They are only one game ahead of Boston and Baltimore, who are both 13-20. So they're trying to stay out of the cellar as best as possible. Chicago, with the win, improves to 16-14. They are 2 games behind the Oakland A's, who are 19-13. So they are 2 games back. And in real world, Chicago is only 10-20 at this point. So they are 6 games better than what they were in real world. And speaking of Oakland, the very next game on the agenda is Oakland and Milwaukee. That will be game number 224. It'll be Oakland and Milwaukee. It'll be Matt Young. Kurt Young against Teddy Higuera, battle of lefties. But a good matchup. Oakland 19-13, Milwaukee 21-9. 2 first-place teams going at it from County Stadium in Milwaukee. That will be tomorrow. That will be tomorrow morning, most likely. Not sure exact time, but most likely tomorrow morning. Do appreciate you guys sitting through 2 blowouts, unfortunately, and hanging in there with me, keeping me company. That was always nice, a nice treat to have. And for anybody that's new to the channel, I think somebody said that maybe Casmo was new to the channel. Welcome aboard. Hope you enjoyed what you saw, despite the fact that it was a blowout. But aside from that, hopefully you had fun watching the game. And tonight we'll be at Inside Pitch. Hello, Tark. Good. Thank you as well. Inside Pitch tonight. Game 4 of the Sparky Anderson Bowl. 1976 Reds against the 1984 Tigers, with the Reds lead 2-1 in that mythical World Series. Game 4 is at Tiger Stadium. Home team has won all 3 games, so the Tigers looking to even the series at home. Jack Morris on the mound for the Tigers against Gary Nolan of the Reds. That'll be tonight, roughly around 8 o'clock on Inside Pitch. So just to mix things up a bit with Strat-O-Matic and Inside Pitch. Saturdays, of course, are season ticket ball games on the NBC Game of the Week. We're using this Engine season ticket baseball for that. And on Fridays, it's Friday Fun Day. Got another game coming out that I haven't played in a long time on Friday Fun Day. That'll be this Friday. Actually be the 1st of August. How about that? We'll make it to the month of August. 1st of August, it'll be a brand new game that I haven't played in a long time on the channel for Friday Fun Day, or Fun Day Friday, whatever you want to call it. So far on Fun Day Fridays, we've done replay baseball, we've done payoff pitch baseball, history maker baseball, and status pro baseball. So we used all 4 of those engines. I got a couple of more engines to go to keep that going. So this Friday, we'll have a different game engine that I haven't played in a long time. And I'll pick a game on August the 1st in whatever season I pick. It'll be August the 1st. And I'll give you, I won't give any hints. I'll just let you see it on Friday what's going to happen. But it'll be a game that was played August the 1st in whatever season and whatever game engine I'm using. I will pick a game that I feel like was interesting from August the 1st. So that's the only thing I'm doing with that, is keeping it August the 1st. All right, so that's good to do it from here. Hope you all are having a Monday, having a nice Monday. Sometimes can be an oxymoron because it's back to work and all that stuff. But hopefully, anyway, wherever you are, you're having a good Monday. Hope you're not too hot. I know here the heat index is like over 100, so I'm staying in. Although the good news is it's supposed to cool down by Friday. We're supposed to be in the low 80s. But today through Thursday is temperatures in the mid 90s with heat indexes in the 100 and 105 range. So good time to stay inside the air conditioning and not get boiled, so to speak. Good time, good weather to stay inside and play Strat, in my opinion. So player detail. I'm not sure what you mean by by that, Canadian? Are you talking about the Strat computer for Windows does show the pass ball? If I click on a player, it will give me, or click on a pitcher rather, it will give me his pass ball numbers. See if I can show something here real quick. I'll pick the guy we just saw, DeLeon. Where is he at? I don't know how well it's going to show up on this laptop. I'm going to try to show it, move it over under this webcam, but I don't know how well it's going to show up on the screen. I'll try to show it as best I can, if I can. And it's not very, I don't know how to get this thing any larger than that. But right here, it does show the wild pitch and the balk. Oh, you're talking about pass ball. I'm sorry. I need to go to catchers, don't I? Definitely shows it for catchers. So let's go to Fisk on here. Where are you, Mr. Fisk? All right, so for Fisk, it does show his T rating and his pass ball ratings in parentheses there. It says PB3. I know it's really hard to see. What are you saying when you're looking at stats? Let's see. Let me go to the stats of this team and see what's happening with that. Go to team stats, primary. Do I need to go to fielding? I'll go to fielding. Hold on. Let's go to fielding. Traditional fielding. For Fisk, it does show. It does not show pass balls on the traditional fielding. Let's see if it does it for the Strat fielding. Strat fielding. Where are you? It does show it for Strat fielding. It does show the pass ball numbers here under Strat. I know it's hard to see this because I'm up against the stand thing for my webcam, so it's not looking very good. But there are pass balls there. Number pass. Let me see what you're. Let me find out what you're asking here. Yeah, you got to go to Strat fielding. You can't go to traditional. There's a separate thing there. One's for traditional, one's for Strat fielding. So that's the difference right there. So yeah, it's Strat. The Strat computer gives a lot of information. I can tell you that. It gives an awful lot of information. No question about it. And like I said, if you want to see the standings, I'll show them real quick. I don't know, again, how well it's going to show up on my, trying to get the laptop in here, but those are the standings. I'm going to get this glare off of here. Maybe that will help. See if that, and let's turn the glare off of this, turn this overhead light off. Maybe that, between the two of those, that will help. But anyway, it's hard for me to show it on the Strat computer, but that's the, those are the standings as of now. Hopefully that light goes off and you can see it without too much glare. I don't know. It's probably showing the glare on here. I can't get the glare off of this thing somehow or another. Doesn't seem to want to do it. I don't know how I can get this thing any closer. Yeah, it's just not going to work very well. Doesn't work well doing it that way. You really have to do it on the computer itself and have the camera on the computer, but I'm not that tech savvy, so I can't do that right now. But anyway, that's going to do it from here. Let's bring the good old dice tray back in here where it's supposed to be. But for those who are, or who might be interested in tonight's game, it'll be game 4. It will be game 4. Let's turn the light back on. That might help a little bit too. It will be game 4. I'll get this thing to show up here. Game 4 of the Sparky Bowl. Tigers and the Reds. Tigers and the Reds. Game number 4. And those are the benches and bullpens for both teams. Those are the mostly left-handed hitters in for the Tigers, since they have the right-hander Gary Nolan on the mound. You're going to have right-handers on the bench with all the lefties in the lineup. Reds pretty much using the same lineup all the time. So that's going to be tonight, roughly around 8 o'clock. In inside pitch baseball, Cincinnati Reds and the Detroit Tigers. Reds and Tigers. Reds and Tigers from Detroit. Game 4. That'll be tonight. Tomorrow morning, hopefully, Oakland, Milwaukee from Milwaukee, Strat-O-Matic. So that's going to do it from here. I've done the doubleheader, so it's probably time for me to rest a little bit and maybe think about getting some lunch here shortly after I finish my coffee. But unfortunately, couldn't get close games for you guys. They came out to be blowouts, 12-4. In the first game of the day, we had, in case you missed it, we had Detroit and California, where California shut out the Tigers 9-0 behind John Candelaria's 7 shutout innings. So not a good spread there. Hopefully tomorrow the Oakland Milwaukee game will be better. We can hope that it will be better. That will be the matchup tomorrow. Like I said, I don't know what time. Hopefully tomorrow morning sometime, but I don't know the exact time of it. Depends on if Mr. Guterman is doing a game in the morning. I'll wait for him to finish. I don't want to step on his toes. So I will certainly wait for him to finish. I'm not in any rush. And if he's not doing anything tomorrow, then, by like 8:30 or so, then I'll jump on and play a game. So we'll have to wait and see. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all are having a good Monday wherever you are. Hopefully you enjoyed these 2 Strat-O-Matic games despite the fact that they were blowouts. Yes, if you look at the stand, I don't know how well they showed up on the computer. You probably couldn't see them at all. But yes, there are a couple 21-win teams. New York and Milwaukee both have 21 wins. The only difference is the Yankees have 12 losses and the Brewers have 9. So the Brewers have a game-and-a-half lead. Oakland is 19-13. Chicago, who just won, is 16-14. So they're 2 games back, or 2 games ahead of the White Sox. Only 1 game ahead in the loss column, though. So White Sox have some games in hand to try to make up. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a wonderful day, whatever you have planned, whether it's working, doing work in your yard, doing work in your house, spending time with family, whatever it is you got going on. Hope you have a wonderful time doing it. And we will be back tonight for Inside Pitch, and then back tomorrow for Strat-O-Matic. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.